Well, no, let me draw your attention to the progress report prepared for this session, and that's going to be under agenda point item 12 and can be consulted on the official webpage in the 4 official languages. We would like to thank all member states, international organizations and non-state actors who kindly submitted written statements on this. We thank you really for your contribution, and without you it wouldn't be possible to have this overview of a report. Moving on onto our agenda, the relevant documents are now displayed on the screen, and the regional committee is invited to consider the implications for the region to the resolutions and decisions adopted by the 78th World Health Assembly and by the Executive Board at its 157th session, and to provide any input for the discussions at the global level. Let me therefore pass the floor immediately to Dr. Katrin Lofthus from Norway, Executive Board Vice Chair, who will deliver a statement in the capacity as the EB SCRC link to reflect on the outcomes of WHA 78 and EB 157 and their regional implications. Dear Ms. Lofthus, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Dear Regional Director, fellow Member States, dear delegates. This year's World Health Assembly bore the mark of WHO facing one of its most challenging financial situations in history, a consequence both of the announcement of the US withdrawal from WHO and a general reduction in global health development assistance. In addition, geopolitical challenges and political divisions have made Member States' negotiations and reaching consensus more challenging. However, despite new realities, we, the Member States, demonstrated that multilateral cooperation is still possible and proved our willingness to make WHO better fit for purpose. Firstly, after more than 3 years of negotiation, we formally adopted the WHO Pandemic Agreement at the Health Assembly 78. This serves as an important step towards improved global preparedness and will function as an additional tool to address and mitigate pandemic risk regionally. It is now crucial that we work together to finalize the Pathogen Access and Benefit Sharing Annex and to support the implementation of the agreement. Second, at the Health Assembly 78, the Member States approved a reduced and more realistic biennial program budget of $4.2 billion, including approval of a 20% increase in assessed contributions, in line with recommendation of PBAC 42. More flexible financing will make WHO better able to use resources in line with core priorities within its 14th General Programme of Work, which is of particular importance in these challenging financial times, where tough prioritizations and cuts must be made across all levels of the organization. For the Regional Office of Europe, the biennial budget constitutes a 17% reduction from the previous biennium. This has large implications for the region, which is nearing the conclusion of a major reprioritization and restructuring process. The Regional Office for Europe has made, and is still making, important efforts to increase efficiency and to cut costs. This is not easy, but painful for both the organization and for individuals. We should applaud the Regional Office efforts to ensure that it's fit for purpose to deliver on the new European Programme of Work. This should serve as an example for all WHO's regions. Several reform measures to enhance efficiency, transparency, and accountability of WHO's global governance are underway. These are crucial to uphold trust within and towards the organization. At the Health Assembly 78, Member States approved, after long time negotiation, the process of handling and investigating potential allegations against WHO Directors General. The result presents sound procedures that will protect the integrity of WHO, of the leadership, and of the governing bodies. At the 157th Executive Board meeting, Member States also discussed and broadly supported further measures of governance reform and to advance implementation of the recommendation by the Agile Member State Task Group on strengthening WHO's budgetary, programmatic, and financial governance. To follow this up, the officers of the board have developed several reform proposals under 3 streams: resolution and decision management, agenda and mandate management, and meeting management. An informal regional consultation to solicit Member States' feedback on these reform proposals was undertaken in the Euro region on the 8th of September. The feedback showed broad support for most of the proposed reform measures. An updated paper integrating feedback from all regions was sent out for review to all Member States last week, and this will be further discussed at an informal EB meeting on the 10th of November. A final proposal will be presented for consideration by PBAC and the Executive Board in early 2026. Regarding resolutions and decisions, Member States adopted a record of 28 resolutions and 27 decisions at the Health Assembly 78. The growth in the number of resolutions and decisions over the years has led to unchecked and unsustainable budgetary growth and workload for WHO, and significant burdens both to the Secretariat and Member States during consultations and text negotiations. Likewise, in terms of agenda and meeting management, the number of agenda items for consideration at governing bodies meetings is burdening the Secretariat and the Member States, nor does it lay the ground for strategic discussions. At the Health Assembly 78, we consider approximately 75 items and sub-items. This does not reflect a clear prioritization and is highly resource intensive in terms of time and costs. Dear colleagues, let me also report on some of the technical matters adopted at the Health Assembly 78 with particular relevance for our region. Under the new agenda item, Mental Health and Social Connection, the resolution WHA 78.9, Fostering Social Connection for Global Health, was adopted. This had significant relevance for the Euro region, where loneliness is a key public health concern that the regional office addresses through several ongoing initiatives. A decision was also made to undertake regional consultation with Member States to review the interim report of the Expert Advisory Group on the WHO Global Code of Practice on the International Recruitment of Health Personnel. This topic is also highly relevant for the region's effort to develop and retain a sustainable health and care workforce, and aligns well with the European Programme of Work. A regional consultation has been conducted, and the report outlining outcomes and recommendations from all regions will be considered at the EB 158. Member States also decided to update the Global Action Plan on Antimicrobial Resistance. AMR is a major global and regional health threat, despite resource constraints, that will continue to be a priority for the WHO Europe region. A regional consultation on the updated action plan has been conducted, and the review process is ongoing. Furthermore, a global action plan on climate change and health was approved after intense negotiations. This plan aligns with regional efforts to address the health implication of climate change. Dear colleagues, in conclusion, WHO's reform must also be seen in a broader context. At all levels, WHO must continue to align efforts and activity engaged in the broader, forward-looking institutional reforms of both the UN system at large and of the global health landscape in particular. Global health challenges require collective actions against borders and sectors. This collective action must be well coordinated, non-duplicative, and accountable. By virtue of its constitutional mandate to serve as the directing and coordinating authority on international health work, we must support WHO in assuming its role in this transformation. Also within WHO, the need for alignment between global, regional, and national level to avoid overlap and duplication is more important than ever. WHO Euro must now work even more efficiently with less, and I'm confident that the new European program of work will guide us in the right direction. So I want to thank you all for your engagement, and thank you.
Thank you very much, dear Catherine, for the extensive report. I'd like to give the floor to Hans for a few words before moving to our last item on the agenda. Hans?
Words of appreciation to you, dear Katrina, Dr. Lofthus, for the very strong link, and we can only agree that this alignment between, actually you mentioned the three levels, becomes more important than ever. And thank you for the confidence also that the EPW2 will provide this tool of working different, or as you say, efficiency with less, and also for recognizing that the reforms in euro can give inspiration to the other regions. And as I was mentioning day one, we will continue to support Dr. Tedros in doing so. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hans. This concludes this last item on the agenda. Let's now move on to the confirmation of dates and places of regular sessions of the Regional Committee in 2025 to 2027. The Regional Committee is invited to consider possible dates and venues of session of the Regional Committee for Europe for the period of 2026 to 2028 and adopt a related draft decision. The relevant document is listed on the screen. So the question is, are there any delegations who would like to take the floor? If so, please raise your name tag. And I see the first one was the Russian Federation. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chair. In connection with the plans for holding the 76th session in Copenhagen, we'd like to recall that the agreement between WHO headquarters and the government of Denmark stipulates taking all of the necessary measures to make it easy for all of the people who are officially involved with WHO to come to Denmark, to stay there and to leave. And this is regardless of the agreements between the country in particular and Denmark. We'd like to ensure that Denmark helps all of the national delegates with, for example, visas, even despite the pressure being exerted by certain countries from the European Union. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Russian Federation. I would like to give the floor to Armenia.
Thank you, dear Chair. The Republic of Armenia expresses its deep appreciation to the WHO Regional Office for Europe and all member states for their continued collective collaboration in advancing health and well-being across our region. Armenia hereby states its intent to host the 78th session of the World Health Organization Regional Committee for Europe in the capital city of Yerevan in 2028. This commitment is an expression of Armenia's enduring dedication to the objectives of the World Health Organization and the principles articulated in the European Programme of Work. Armenia, having made profound investments and achieved measurable success in transforming its national healthcare landscape, is confident in its ability to provide a fitting and productive venue for this critical regional governance event. Armenia possesses the requisite infrastructure, organizational capacity, and political will to ensure the RC78 meeting is executed with the highest standards of professionalism, efficiency and security. Our government is fully committed to ensuring the smooth organization of the event in close coordination with the WHO Regional Office for Europe. We believe that hosting the regional committee in Yerevan, our capital city, will serve as a vital platform for European regional member states to witness the direct impact of health reforms in transitional economy and to foster deeper cross-regional collaboration on key health, security and sustainable development goals, thereby reinforcing a strong message of unity, accessibility and solidarity across the entire WHO European region. The Republic of Armenia respectfully invites the Regional Committee to support our offer and looks forward to providing the WHO Regional Office for Europe with a detailed hosting proposal and the full assurance of governmental support required to guarantee a successful session of the Regional Committee in 2028. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Armenia. And I would like to pass the floor to Denmark.
Thank you, Chair. Denmark is keen to assist and facilitate according to our obligations as host country for the WHO Regional Office. As we have done in previous years, Denmark provides information about visa processes and rules to WHO to be shared with all member states in due time of this and other meetings. As we have underscored before, we encourage all member states to follow these guidelines and processes. It is very important to apply for a visa as early as possible. You can apply 6 months in advance and not later than 15 days prior to expected date of arrival. Some nationalities will need to clear a Schengen consultation check before a visa can be granted. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Denmark. Anybody else? I don't see any other interventions or nameplates raised. Is there anybody here from the Secretariat? Anything else we need to specify? No? Good. Then I would like to, if there's nothing else from our side either, I would like to conclude this agenda item. So we are now ready to consider the proposed draft decision contained in the document EUR/RC75/conf/4 on dates and places of regular sessions of the Regional Committee for Europe in 2026 to 2028. Is the committee willing to adopt the proposed draft decision by consensus? I see no objections. The decision is therefore adopted. Thank you very much. With this, I then close this agenda item and move to the last segment of this regional committee. You know, there's always something else, but we're getting close. So the next point is other matters. May I check if there's anybody or any other matters that any delegation would like to bring forward? Are there any requests from the floor? If not, then I would move on to the last part. I know the rights of reply. So far, as I'm informed, there's none. So that we can skip then as well. And I would then move on to the closure of the session. So before we conclude the session, allow me to make some last remarks very briefly. Also on behalf of our minister, who is unfortunately not able to be with us today, and for the closing of the statement. We as Luxembourg were really happy and proud to be part of SCRC, and also very honored to be able to have the presidency and the executive presidency for RC75. And I think this underlines also our commitment to WHO, and that we believe that a strong WHO is the way to move forward and the way to go. So we hope that more than ever now we can all stand together. And I thank RC, I thank you, all of you, for the fruitful discussions, and especially the important decisions that you made over the last 3 days here to bring WHO forward. I would just like one remark on SCRC. I think Björn said it nicely. In difficult times, we were sticking together, but I was very, very lucky to become the chair of a very, very important and very nice and very competent SCRC. So I thank all of you, and I hope that I can talk to you later also. And I know that most of us will stay in contact, and that was fruitful also for the rest of the next years to come. So with that, let me go on to some more official parts. With regard to chairmanship of the Standing Committee of the Regional Committee, let me remind you that in accordance with Rule 14.2.4 of the Rules of Procedure of the Regional Committee, the Deputy Executive President of this session of the Regional Committee will be ex officio the chairperson of the 33rd SCRC. Therefore, it's an honor, and I would like really to congratulate Ms. Asta Valdimarsdottir from Iceland with taking up this role, and I wish you all the best of luck in this function. Congratulations, Asta. So I hope you enjoyed the 3 days and you were happy also and you got something out of it. And I think it was fruitful not only in here but also outside on the floors and having coffee. And I really feel that it's so important to meet on a regular basis. With that, I would like to pass the floor to Gabrielle for a couple of important messages.
Thank you so much, Chair. Echoing the Chair, thank you for everything over the past 3 days. We very much appreciate all the advice, all of the guidance, all of the support that you have given us, and the decisions we will be moving forward ready to implement. For SCRC 33 members, if I could please remind you that the first meeting is scheduled to take place. We actually adjusted the timing slightly to 6 p.m. And I think we need to stick with that time because we have colleagues connecting online. It will be here in this room. Zoom links were also made available for those SCRC members who are unable to be with us in person. An RC75 evaluation survey will soon be sent out. Please do share your views, colleagues, and your comments and feedback so that we can continue to learn and improve for future sessions. Finally, just to note, an intention to serve on WHO bodies and committees survey will also be sent out during November, as we did last year. Thank you so much, Chair. Thank you to all delegates, delegations and colleagues, and over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gabrielle. And that leaves me to ask Hans to take the floor for his closing remarks.
Dear colleagues, as we draw this 75th session of our Regional Committee to a close, one word captures everything I feel in this moment: gratitude. Gratitude for the energy and honesty you have brought to our discussions. Gratitude for the trust and partnership you have shown in shaping the future of health and well-being in Europe and WHO's role within it. And gratitude to my own WHO Europe team, whose dedication keeps inspiring me every day. Many of you have expressed your support for WHO as we face hard and uncertain days, and your words mean more than you can imagine. We began fittingly with the voices of children singing in Arabic, Yiddish and Danish. Quote, "We are all brothers and sisters," unquote. A powerful reminder of why we do this work. A very heartfelt thanks to our gracious host, to Denmark, particularly Minister Sophie Löde, and for the wonderful reception that you brought us together as friends. It reminded us that nothing replaces really human face-to-face contact. Mange tak. And thank you to Slovenia for the wonderful, healthy breakfast that reminded us of the importance of sharing meals and the importance of bees. Thank you very much to Armenia, dear Armin, for the wonderful proposal, and thank you to your minister and the government. These 3 days remind us what is possible when purpose meets partnership. You have given us powerful new mandate by adopting the second European Programme of Work. You indeed brought it to its destination. It reflects our shared vision for health and well-being in Europe, with joint ownership, joint responsibility, and now joint accountability. all rooted in our commitment to an evidence-based organization. Our task is clear now, to turn the vision into implementation and results. Results felt in every community, every clinic, every home, leaving no one behind in the 53 European member states. Today, you considered two landmark strategies, one on child and adolescent health and another one on healthy aging. Together, we will ensure that every person in our region, from the youngest to the oldest, can live not only longer, but better, in partnership. Developing these strategies has revitalized our partnership with UNICEF and UNFPA. We will continue to reinforce each other's work for the benefit of all the people we serve. We remain fully committed to the values of equity and social participation, ensuring that we always involve people and communities as active partners. Our region, and I'm very proud of this, our region leads the world in gender equality. Yet, women and girls still face violence in their homes, on the streets and in conflict zones. I was honored to launch the call for action on violence against women and girls to address it. And thank you everyone for an overwhelming support, which touched me very deeply. On climate and health, we took another important step forward. The Pan-European Commission on Climate and Health has begun its work under the leadership of Prime Minister Catharina Jacobsdottir. And I thank you for your engagement as the commissioners prepare their calls to action for 2026. I said on Tuesday that all of us will be judged by how we leverage technology for the public good. I hope that our discussions and the AI demonstration event yesterday evening showed we are not just talking about innovation, but putting it to work. You adopted our new strategy on innovation for public health, and I look forward to reporting back on its impact. We must never forget the conflicts and wars that devastate lives, destroy health systems, and roll back progress. Peace remains the best medicine for health. Health workers and facilities must never be a target. This week, we marked a vital milestone. 1,000 children evacuated from Gaza for treatment in WHO Europe member states. To those countries that opened your doors and hearts, thank you. Yesterday, 5 more patients evacuated to Romania. Thank you so much, Multimesk, and 5 to the Netherlands. Dank u wel. I call again on every member state to do more for the thousands of children still waiting for help. Today, we must look the reality in the eye. Trust in international cooperation is being tested like never before. We have 2 gaps to close. We must close both our funding gap and this trust gap to prove that we can still deliver in a rapidly changing world. WHO Europe is turning challenge into opportunity and reimagining our future. As the region director, I feel a profound responsibility to show that this crisis can be overcome through clarity of vision, decisive action, and empathy in leadership. We're doing different with less, facing our financial realities, aligning our resources with priorities, investing in excellence, and fundraising with intent. We shared our program budget with full transparency and accountability. We are confronting the truth and adapting. We are breaking silos and working across disease programs and health systems, rooted in primary healthcare and a strong focus on the essential public health functions. This is the WHO we are building, focused, efficient, and close to the people we serve. Evidence-based, politically neutral, leaving no one behind. A WHO that listens and delivers. When we act together with vision and purpose, there is nothing we cannot achieve. I want to thank the Region Committee President, Minister Martin Deprez of Luxembourg, and all the RC75 officers. I thank the outgoing and incoming members of our standing committee who have stood with us through this difficult year. My deep gratitude to my big brother, Dr. Tedros, always only one call away, for his continued guidance to me. And to my brother, Dr. Janabi, Regional Director from the African region, for his collaboration and warm friendship. Lastly, to all my valued colleagues who have organized this regional committee meeting, thank you. A tour de force. Thank you, dear colleagues, for your hard work, professionalism, and good humor. My dad used to say, humor is the best sign of intelligence. I am proud to call you my colleagues. My own version of an African proverb still holds true. We are moving fast to save lives and going far to leave no one behind. I wish you all safe travels home and look forward to our continued collaboration. Mange tak, thank you, merci beaucoup, danke schön, spasiba van большое. And let me give a token of appreciation to our esteemed chair of the Standing Committee of the Regional Committee. Thank you so much.